Hello, welcome everybody to Smart Teaching with AI, a guide for AI use in assignments. I'm Andrea Taylor. I'm the Teaching and Learning Solutions Lead at the Graduate School of Business. And I'm very excited to be here today. And of course, I would love to see all of your faces, but the way this is set up, we don't get to see each other. I want to just start off by just noting that, like many similar teams, my colleagues and I have been pretty focused on the disruption and opportunities of AI in education. And it's really been an interesting journey and time for us. Our collective understanding has been evolving, and I've noticed that our individual sentiments have been also changing pretty rapidly. So I'd like to kick us off to hear a little bit about your sentiments. This is a way we can all connect with each other. I have a poll everywhere. So in one word, describe how you feel about the use of AI for assignments. Let's see if we can get a few ideas up here before I transition on. Fine, okay, good, excellent. You know, it takes a little bit to hop into the polling tool. Overwhelmed? I imagine that that's happening. Any other ideas? Uneasy, anxious, excited? Sort of two ends of the polls, right? Excited, a few excited. Okay, great. I'm going to move us on just in the interest of time, since these are very short presentations, and let you know how I think we're going to address some of these sentiments that you are talking about in this presentation. So I'll take a few minutes just to talk about AI decision factors and things that are really influencing our decisions of how to implement AI in our classes. And then I'm going to walk you through a framework that I've been working on with my team and with the help of AI, mind you, to think about how to implement AI in assignments in a very meaningful way. And this is also going to be a process that I will show you that you can do, and I will provide some prompts, and I have all of my materials up in the platform that you can download as well. And if we only have 25 minutes for these, if there's time, I'll see if we can address any of the questions that come through. So let's take a look here, what's going on next. I do want to let you know that I did use AI to create this workshop. AI is not the outcome of the workshop, but it was a thought partner for me in creating sample assignments, in testing, and of course, in creating visuals for this workshop. So now let's talk about some of those factors, those decision factors. There are a lot that are influencing all of the faculty that I've worked with, and it's a little overwhelming. One of the words I saw that popped up there on the screen. So policy is the first thing that comes to mind. Your institution has policies, maybe your department has policies. And here at Stanford, for example, we're thinking about responsible AI. That's the Stanford's responsible AI use, where we have to be aware and careful about how AI is being used, what we're putting in, be mindful about sensitive information, data, copyrighted material, and any of that information being leaked inadvertently to third-party platforms. Departmental policies might be a little different. At the Graduate School of Business, we cannot ban the use of AI for take-home assignments. So it's akin to using the internet. It just cannot be policed. And so we're to allow our students to use that. So it really shows that we need to offer some guidance of what we think is appropriate for learning. And it does put us in a quandary. The other piece to think about is what our students want and what our students need. Our students are emerging leaders. And if you've been following the trends from tech surveys like I have, you're going to notice that the amount of AI use articulated by students for academic use is climbing. A most recent national survey from this summer indicated that close to 50% of students are indicating they're using AI for coursework. And I think we can assume that much of that is unguided. So we need to figure out how we can guide them better. And students are asking for guidance. We have heard this from our focus groups. It's been quoted in surveys. They want to learn how to use AI so they can be prepared after graduation, because AI is not going anywhere. It's staying. So when it comes to your courses, our students in our focus groups told us that even the power users of AI want to know what's appropriate to the appropriate use in order to achieve the goals of your class. And that other 50% that aren't already using it, they're asking for AI literacy. They're asking for guardrails. So both groups are actually asking for us to give them that guidance. And then we know this one, academic integrity. We want to hold students to high academic standards. We don't want AI to do the work for them or be a substitute for grappling with the challenges our assignments present. We want our students to have experience in our classes where they're building specific skills and expertise, but yet we want them to gain that better understanding of how to use AI as an ally in this rapidly changing world. So really the core idea here is, how can we make AI a tool and not the outcome? And that's going to be a central piece of what I show you in the framework I've developed. And then finally, opportunities and limitations of AI. So we've been looking a lot of this. We know AI's capabilities are growing, it's exploding, but it still is limited. We know that AI still doesn't engage in higher order thinking and making true sense of information. It's just following its modeling, its training. So think about what it can do well. Automated tasks, it's just conference registrations, coding, writing and drafting, summarizing, being a brainstorm partner, but it still needs that human interaction. It needs the human interaction to give context and constraints, and it needs the human interaction to be the expert in the room, to be able to carefully assess the output and make changes as needed. So this, in a nutshell, is what we're really thinking about, how we need to make AI that partner. So I'm going to jump into that framework. So this framework starts with two core principles, or I'm going to say that these are also phases that you might go through in determining meaningful AI use with assignments. So think of these as two steps to a recipe, for example, and I'm going to demonstrate this recipe in just a moment. I will open up ChatGPT and do a demo. So I want to break it down first. Clear learning goals. What do I mean by that? So when we're thinking about letting your students know what you want them to achieve, and when I'm thinking about these goals for an assignment or a task in a class, we're also thinking about the skills that students need to develop or leverage in doing that task. So you're going to hear me use that word skills and goals together quite often as I go through the rest of this presentation. And then we want to think about generating expertise building opportunities. So I want to think about this quote from Derek Bruff, which is, expert use requires expertise. And so we as educators need to evaluate what's appropriate for students to do with AI. What's their expertise level? So think about it this way. If we were to have AI assist with medical diagnosis or assist with data analysis, we need to have some expertise ourselves so we can best evaluate AI's output. So being explicit with both of these principles will offer that sense of guardrails that students need to use AI so that they can build those skills in your course and build that expertise to evaluate the AI bot's output. Okay, so now we talked about this as being sort of a recipe. I want to talk about the ingredients in the part one, which is defining clear goals. So this pyramid represents multiple and varied levels ways students might engage with one assignment. It's using a simplified version of the well-known Bloom's taxonomy of educational goals. And so this is just simplified down to 4 levels to help us really think through more targeted ways to assess our assignments. So your assignments might draw upon all of these levels or just a few, and they are all valid and important in learning. So how might you expect them to exercise this skill set or expertise, moving up from the bottom of the level of understanding and through that higher order thinking of analyze, evaluate, create? So let's take a look at what AI can be a partner for this. So just jump into understand. So AI can help students by defining or giving examples. An example prompt might be a student just types into the chatbot, what are online marketplaces? When we want students to apply, AI can be that test kitchen. There's that cooking terminology again. It can provide different situations. So in a crisis management course, a student might prompt the bot in this way. You represent the news media interviewing me about my firm's crisis response. Here's my press release. Ask me questions. Then if we're asking our students to analyze or evaluate, AI can provide questions and scenarios to elicit further inquiry. So a student's prompt might be, help me strengthen my responses by asking me follow-up questions. And finally, on the top level here, we have create. And this is where AI can be a collaborator to generate text or code, images to support a project, or a general brainstorming partner. So an example student prompt might be, write a one-page product brief using these bullet points, or generate a marketing report from this data. So it's creating a component of a larger product that a student can then evaluate and look at. So I'd like to demonstrate this in action. And so that's our baseline. Those are our ingredients for determining the goals. And I would like to use AI to better define the learning goals that you would like to share with your students, and how we can generate the expertise building opportunities. So I'm going to go through both steps and walk you through the prompts. So the first prompt that I'm going to use on defining the clear goals is going to be this. So in a second, I'm going to pop this into ChatGPT. And so it states, I will provide instructions, I will provide the instructions for an assignment. Give me a list of the assignment goals and the skills students should use mapped to a simplified Bloom's knowledge domain hierarchy using these 4 categories: understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So let me move over to ChatGPT and start working on this prompting process. Yeah, we can do this. We really can. There we go. Okay, so I've already pasted this in. I haven't sent it into the GPT yet, but let's take a look what it tells us to do after. And then I'm going to paste in a mock assignment. Take a look there. All right, so it's telling me it's ready. Please go ahead and paste the instructions for the assignment. I'll help map the goals and skills to the Bloom's knowledge domain hierarchy categories. So it's a willing partner already. This is really great. So let me paste in. I've just copied it to my clipboard from a Google Doc on my other screen. And this is, I'm going to just scroll up so you can see an assignment that's about developing a multi-segment advertising campaign for a new beverage. So it's a project-based assignment that we're trying out here. And we're going to see how ChatGPT gives us a sense of full goals based on those Bloom's hierarchy domains. And here we go. I'm using 4.0, so it's pretty fast. And you can use any chatbot of your choice when you do this on your own. But I do like how quickly I'm able to get some answers here. So here we are. It's spit out some pretty good goals here pretty quickly. So understand, it's given me a couple of goals. I'm not going to read all through these. I just want you to sort of see how the breadth of the output it's giving me here. And much like a cooking show, you can imagine that I've already baked a little bit of this. So I'm going to show you the next phase in just a little bit here without having to go through the next step on my own. So what I would do with this output is I'm going to take a look through this with my own critical eye as a faculty member. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to see what's relevant to my course. What do I think students want to focus on? Maybe an area that looks like a flag where I don't want students to be where I'm worried that AI might actually get in the way of learning. So I'm looking for opportunities for partnerships. I'm going to clean this up, and then I am going to do my second prompt. So let's all pretend, let's know that I've already cleaned this up. I'm going to paste in my second prompt, and I'll read this to you as I paste this in, since I know that seeing ChatGPT on your screen might not be as enlarged as we'd hope. So this second prompt states, students should focus on developing the skills and outcomes listed below in this assignment. Provide an option of how students can use an AI chatbot to support their learning and develop these skills. AI will not do the work, but should serve as a partner to students in developing the sample skill. Include sample AI prompt starters. So now here I have those skills. Let me paste those in, like I said. Whoops, hang on, whoops. Sorry, ChatGPT. All right. I meant to paste those in together. Here we go. Now it's taking on what I told it to do. So understand key marketing strategies, apply segmentation techniques, analyze potential effectiveness of the advertising campaign, and create or develop engaging and effective advertising content. So now it is giving me specific skills that they should be working on and how AI can support. And so as the faculty member, I'm using, again, my expertise on this, and I know what my course is about, and I want students to be able to engage in certain ways. I'm going to go through this and look for some of these options of the sample AI prompt starters. And once I have done that, I'm ready to start sharing that with my students. So again, back to the Julia Child cooking show. I'm going to pull out of the oven in just a second what I've come up with that I would share with my students. So let me pop back to our presentation. So this was our first step. We defined clear goals, and I gave it the assignment prompt so it knows. Then I asked it this. I cleaned up those goals. I asked it what skills should students use and give me some example prompts. And then I gave it my cleaned up goals. And then I've been able to come up with this. So I selected one for each area. You may not choose understand, apply, analyze, and create, but I wanted to just to demonstrate for today. So the student goal is students will understand key marketing strategies. And we got to get this to advance forward. There we go. Here's where AI can support. So here's what I would have cleaned up and the prompt that I would want to share with my students for them to get started. So I want AI to support students by explaining different marketing strategies and their effectiveness. And the prompt is right there. Explain what market segmentation is and why it's important for creating an advertising campaign. So let's take a look at apply. So this is where I say apply. They want to apply segmentation techniques to target specific consumer groups and effectively in the advertising campaign. And the outcome where AI can be a support is AI can recommend segmentation strategies based on consumer data. And here's my sample prompt, which is simulate how different consumer groups will respond to this marketing strategy. Suggest alternative approaches for reaching each segment. I will go through the next two. We have analyze the potential effectiveness of the advertising campaign in reaching the target audience. And AI helped me come up with, provide insights into campaign performance and simulate potential outcomes based on historical data. And there's the sample prompt, assess the potential effectiveness of this ad campaign, provide insights into expected performance based on similar campaigns. So AI is helping me by assessing and helping me exercise my assessment muscles. And then finally in create, they're to create or develop engaging, effective advertising content, including visuals and copy. And AI is going to assist in brainstorming content ideas, copy, and suggest design elements. And we have a prompt that's stating pretty much that. Create engaging advertising copy and suggest visual elements for this ad campaign targeting young professionals. So each step of the way, the student's offering context of the work that they're working on. They're providing examples, bullet points, notes, or engaging in these conversations, much like I engaged with the AI bot in a conversation to develop the ideas for this sort of meta package of ideas of how to guide my students. So to recap real quick what we did, because I know we went pretty fast here. You want to prompt the AI bot to list assignment goals and skills mapped to those 4 cognitive domain levels, just to give you a sense of what's important to you. You want to clean up that output and assess that and make sure that that is what you want and where you're headed for this. And then prompt the AI bot to list ways students can use AI to develop the skills and provide sample prompts. And then finally, out of that, select 1 or 2 to clean up to guide students in meaningful AI use. So that pretty much covers the framework. And like I stated, I have provided a copy of this PDF copy of the slide deck, as well as the step-by-step guide connected to my speaker profile or to the conference profile. And but I do think we have a little bit of time to take any questions that might be coming through the chat. I see a question. I've seen that inclusivity is an issue with AI. How can we help with this? Yes, I'm not to presume too much about what you're speaking about, but one of the things I think about is access. And I think that this is an ongoing issue because not all students have access or the finances to pay for a chatbot that they can, set settings. I think this is getting away sort of from my topic, but my professional opinion is I think we need to keep talking with our administrators and see if we can start adopting chatbots that everybody can have free and equal access to for institutions. And one other thing that I also had heard in a seminar before is that much of the chatbots have been trained on a lot of, I would say, non-inclusive, potentially material. It's been sort of very siloed. And the more students we can give access to train the bots as well can start increasing the opportunities that AI can have more data from various demographics in order to have better outputs. And another comment, I love Bloom's taxonomy, and I was happy to see that you used it in your framework. Can you say a little more about why you chose to simplify it? Is it just that it's simpler for the chatbot to work with, or reflects the most common levels for assignments you're seeing? Yeah, that's a very great question. Actually, what I have done is I compressed, and I'm not the first to have done this. I actually took this from a model from EDUCAUSE, and we have compressed the analyze and evaluate into 2 sections, and we've taken out remember, just because I think that those might be slightly higher order thinking. But I don't think the chatbot would have a problem with the other levels, but I will also state that, like, in working with faculty, talking about 5 levels or 6 levels is actually much more complex than talking to faculty about 4 levels as an instructional designer. So that's another reason why I felt like it was just a quicker, easier way to grasp on the human side. Is there a way to use AI to evaluate online written assignments? I like that question, and that's not my area of expertise. So I think I'm going to actually defer that to probably another presentation. I believe that there is a way probably to have AI evaluate, with the right type of prompt engineering, but I also think that there's a lot of ethical concerns about that too, about what what students value and where the human component needs to be part of that. So I do think that's a whole completely different conference presentation, which I hope to attend at some point myself so I can learn a little more about that. And I think we're actually right at time here. So I want to thank everybody for joining this presentation. And I hope that you find that the framework is valuable and at least a springboard for you in taking a chance to start thinking about AI guidance for your own students. And of course, feel free to adapt and evolve this as you see fit for your own courses.